I thought it was important that the IAC had its own presence, its own identity, that it had its own personality, but at the same time worked with Gustav Rose's building, with the existing WAG, where there'd be a real partnership. In a sense, I was trying to make a building that was its own form, its own object, but that it also completed another object. So you can begin to see how this facade creates the line of the face and facade of the IAC, and then that has a more sculptural and scalloped, undulating facade, but as it turns back along Colony, it again seems to turn back in and complete this wall. You could almost think of the building as this kind of public piazza in the city, a place where many different cultures could all come together inside and around the project. I was looking for opportunities to make that inside more visible because of that. We're starting in the middle. And what we're overlooking from this mezzanine is the main lobby. And we're directly overlooking the learning steps, which are multi-purpose, almost amphitheater-like space that will have glass around it, be able to be closed at times when there's projections, but often will be open, and it's the main space for a lot of the teaching and learning that'll take place in a more direct way with docents, educators, and teachers. Those steps look right out onto the street, and again, that's one of those moments where the activity that'll take place on the steps will be visible from the outside. On the lower level are all the lobbies and really the public spaces that include education learning, that more serpentine curvilinear structure in the middle that has orange cladding around the bottom. That's that vault space. That'll all be glass enclosed, shelves from floor, basically ground floor, all the way up to the ceiling of the lobby and filled with the collection, which means that you'll be able to see the collection and the work inside the gallery at multiple levels. You can imagine, or at least I can imagine, at times being here as people are streaming in and out of the main entry, coming in and out from the WAG. In the visible vault, the two visible levels are at the ground level, lobby level, and then where this deck is, there'll be curators and conservators in that space working. You're close enough to almost feel like you can touch that space. That's so completely different than the way most museums and galleries have functioned, where all of that work is really happening back of house. There's a big spiral stair that surrounds this column that connects those multiple levels and goes down eventually to the basement and connects to all the back of house functions in the existing WAG. This is, of course, the main gallery. Here you can really begin to see the undulation of the exterior facade. I believe that the scale of the space was truly important to try to at least infer the scale that a lot of the work that will be displayed here was made in. Here, the scale of and the power of the space in relationship to the power and the scale of the objects, the art in this collection is really trying to at least recall some of the place that work was made in, that it feels comfortable here, that it really resonates with the space, and that sense of fluidity of the space starts to relate to much of the landscape that the work was made in. We've made our way up to the fourth floor. We're at the same level at this point as the roof terrace, the roof garden, but from here you get a real sense of the scope and the sweep of the main gallery. And then there's another smaller mezzanine gallery, which can either have shows that relate to what's happening in the main gallery. It can be a separate show. It provides that much more flexibility from a curatorial standpoint for the IAC. If you stand at the corner, St. Mary and Memorial, they're going to have a view into the building that hopefully tells them a lot about what is happening here, a lot about the collection, a lot about the activity, and the spirit of the building. It's meant to be in a conversation with the city of Winnipeg as a whole. It's very much about the Inuit collection and that culture, but it's also very much about the urban culture of Winnipeg and trying to be in a deeper and real back and forth conversation with the city.